from straight through.
Yeah, so that series is over now, and hope you guys enjoyed to see the end of that one. We're going to move into another match again that's already been completed, but we're going to catch the action from the last two games here of this match, as we don't have any more live coverage to show you guys. Killinallday versus Astrogation. Both of these players came in to round number 5 with a 3-1 score. So 3-2 almost means you're eliminated. It's near mathematically impossible to advance from a 3-2 unless your opponents just blaze through the rest of the tournament. But 4-1 actually secures you in a good spot moving into round 6. So an incredibly important match for these two guys.
Yeah, Killinallday here, very similar to what we just saw from Silent Storm. Finley on turn 1 into life tap is giving him so much extra gas as the game moves along. His typical game plan with Warrior is just going to be run over Astrogation as quickly as possible. Astrogation's Reno Warlock deck has come with a few tools as a nod to that early pressure, though. He's got the Copy of Corruption here. He's got a Void One. He's got a Mind Control tech. There's no combo, there's no Mountain Giant, and he's also got Harrison Jones. And here, just taking the risk with Dirty Bat on turn 2, just decides, you know what? Killinallday's already applying a lot of pressure to me. I have Defender Vargas and Earthen Ring Farseer. Let's try to just get taunts down now, weaken the board, and come away with it after.
Yeah, just try and buy time. You know, I like the strategy there. There's not many. It's not like Aggro Shaman. By throwing out the Dirty Rat on 2, you can't get punished by like Flame Ring Faceless. You know, the thing you get punished by the most would be, you know, maybe Fraughting Berserker, Corcoran Elite, those types of things. And you know, sometimes when you're in a situation where you might be in an unfavorable matchup, or maybe you don't have the hand that you like in that situation, you got to take the risk. You got to make the read also that they don't have those types of cards, and try and go for it from there. Earthen Ring Farseer, once again, it's going to be there to buy some time. Killinallday still hasn't picked up a weapon.
Yeah, that's a really big deal when you draw Small Time Buccaneer. You know, this is a card that operates fantastic when you draw weapons, but when you don't draw any, they're measly 1-2. I mean, they don't even have taunt. So Goldshire Footmen outclassing those at the moment.
Bummer. Ready for action.
Yep, silence here, right on time.
Yeah. Felfire Potion has been an interesting tech inclusion to a lot of people's decks. Dr. J. That's what I'm going to call him, Dr. J, who's sitting at the 5-0 undefeated side right now. He also has the Felfire tech.
Yeah, we've been seeing it crop up a lot more in this particular event than we did in Europe. Almost every single Reno list I've looked at has had Felfire Potion in it, and it's strictly just to handle wide board pressure. It's not an effective tool when you're facing against aggressive decks, you know, as say maybe Shadow Flame with a minion would be, but sometimes it just gets the job done. You do need ways to clear the board, and if you think about some of the popular matchups you expect to face, like Jade Shaman become maybe expected to be popular here. Some of the Miracle Rogue decks where they hide Gadgets and Auctioneer. Having a way to clear out hidden board pressure or just 5 health minions, I think is very crucial.
Yeah, look at when you face, say, against Reno Mage. You know, what does a Reno Mage's board look like going into turn 6? Refresher Vendor, 5 health. Second Right Bruiser, 5 health. Emperor Thorsan, 5 health.
Yeah, even like a Tempo Mage build, oftentimes Azure Drake is about as big as the minion gets, or maybe Emperor Thorsan. Felfire Potion can clear that and maybe set you up for some nice turns.
Yeah, it comes a little bit before Twisting Nether. But back into this game, Kazakis is picked up from Astrogation. Now, he does have to make sure that he spaces out these turns a bit. He's got Doomsayer, but not really a way to ensure that it goes off.
Yeah, the Doomsayer may be good enough here just as sort of a health tool almost, just to try to buy some more time. And here it's going to have to be good enough. Astrogation under you know, heaps of pressure. And here he's actually going to force Killinallday to kill the Doomsayer. I mean, how often do you see this happen?
Well, once today.
I don't think I've ever seen someone taunt up their own Doomsayer. Usually they taunt another minion, try to hide behind that so the Doomsayer activates. But in this position, Astrogation just feels like it doesn't really have a strong option.
Just at least 7 health heal. Possibly more depending on what you have to trade into it, but it looks like Killinallday has clean trades. I mean, again, this is just Astrogation trying to buy time. So I just need to get get to a point where I can Felfire Potion clear the board, get to a spot where I can play Kazakus safely.
And this trade actually may set up a Kazakus here. So now, Astrogation has options for that Felfire Potion, of course. Oh, and Reno Jackson drawn. Oh my. Yeah, that's a Felfire Potion. It's incredibly difficult to die from this spot for Astrogation. And if killinallday just decides to push and doesn't actually get minion presence down here, the Reno Jackson will all but seal it at that point.
Yeah, this is actually a really interesting spot because both players basically have, you know, the best possible hands or scenarios.
Yeah.
Astrogation has Kazakis, Reno, Jiraxis, and has had, you know, the early tools to deal with the board. Killinallday has strong minions, life tap to gain resources, Arcanite Reaper to deliver damage. So both players are in sort of spots where they have everything that they could want. Now it's about piecing those together and trying to come up with a win. And I feel like when everything plays out perfectly, that Reno Warlock might have a little bit of an edge. But it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Well, killinallday does have one of the most important minions on the board right now, facing down a Reno Jackson, which is Frothing Berserker. Killinallday now free to actually invest damage into this Reno Jackson to make sure it doesn't start trading off his minions. And all that damage he sinks in goes back into the Frothing Berserker. So if it sticks around, it starts paying dividends on the trades that he'll pick up throughout.
And he can attack with the Arcanite Reaper and the South Sea Deckhand, or he can
Everything.
Yeah, or he can attack in with the Corcoran Elite which is, you know, more efficient damage because you more cleanly kill the Reno and you also buff the Frothing Berserker by 1 more. So you push an extra 2 damage this turn.
It's also a nod
while
to Mind
sacrificing
Control.
Corcoran.
Astrogation is playing a copy of Mind Control.
That's actually a great point.
And who knows how much these players have actually spoken about their games and maybe heard some stories. They're both playing at the Santa Ana location. So, you know, prior to the game, afterwards.
Some trash talk.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just the discussion is available. You know, maybe he just heard that Astrogation has Mind Control Tech. I've been Mind Control Teching people all day. It's great.
And killinallday, even though he can see the list, those types of things stick into your mind.
Yeah, and no freedom here for Astrogation to play the Harrison under too much pressure. So Demon Wrath and Kazakis, he's going to look for a 1-cost potion to clear this board.
Well, he picked that pretty quickly, so
That usually means he's playing it pretty quickly.
usually means he's playing it pretty quickly. Now, keep in mind that you know, 1-drop, getting a very specific 1-drop is like, I think it's 60%. It's above 50% a chance to get the exact one that you're looking for.
There are 8 total options rather than 9 total options.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, Bash, no good in this spot. Just clears out the Kazakis.
As soon as you bash a minion
And look-
against Reno Warlock, you're dead.
Killinallday is going to hold the Cultist to try to buff this Arcanite Reaper, and then Astrogation gets his Harrison Jones off. That's a major swing. Defender of Argus, Refreshment Vendor, and Siphon Soul. And that's not a good draw right now.
Hit him with the old Bloodhoof Brave.
Yeah, a card that's certainly meant to be a tech choice in the mirror match. This can shut down a lot of assaults, but here, that Reno Jackson, that Kazakis, pulling so much weight for Astrogation.
Yeah. The Bloodhoof Brave is actually pretty cool tech for the mirror matchup, considering Pirate Warrior is the most popular, you know, specific archetype brought as we've seen throughout the day. But killinallday goes ahead, taps out, and that match got brought to a game number 5.
Yeah, and what a game number 5 it has to be at that point. You know, like Astrogation hanging on by the skin of his teeth, getting the right Kazakis potion, drawing the Reno Jackson, nailing the Harrison Jones. So, some of his tech cards really influence this matchup, and I think the big one to really note there is the Mind Control tech. Killinallday chose to play around it, and that extra Corcoran Elite could have potentially been on the board in that turn as a 4-1 minion attacking. Would that extra damage have been able to change anything?
Yeah, and so let's go ahead and jump into game number 5. Again, the matchup was a matchup that happened earlier. This is not a live match, but we are interested in seeing the end of it because this match is between some of the best players, up-and-coming players as well, in the Americas region.
Yeah, Astrogation certainly a player that if you're paying close attention to the Hearthstone Championship Tour, you've seen his name around a little bit. He competed all throughout last year and wasn't able to put together a strong enough finish to be noteworthy for him. And so this year, he's got a great personality. If you ever watch his stream, he talks about self-improvement and his ambition to compete. And just every single time I see Astrogation play, he just gets better and better. I think this year could be a big one for Astrogation.
This would be a good start.
Certainly would. And dueling Finleys and dueling steady shots at that. But I got to be honest, I'm favoring Astrogation's hand here. The Fiery War Axe is so good. at fighting for early.
One thing's for sure is you know this is going to be fast because both players gave up armor up. So those long grindy battles like the one we saw earlier, for example, with Nostum and Yoet's Flow, where they run out of cards completely and they're just trying to armor, like basically out-resource, out-value, and out-health their opponents. This one, that amount of health, that's what you got for the rest of the game. You got 30, and you're not going anywhere above that.
Yep, and as soon as the cards are out, 2 a turn starts ticking away. I mean, the game is just going to end very fast at some point.
We'll see. I tend to agree. Astrogation seems like he's got Fiery War Axe to protect either Frothing Berserker or South Sea Captain. Most likely Frothing Berserker is going to come out first. But KillinallDay's got plenty himself.
Wow, look at this. The aggressive Patches attack. I mean, that's like inviting Astrogation to play Frothing Berserker this spot. Or South Sea Captain. That's a great trade also on the Patches now. He gets to pick off both of these. I think if Patches just dealt an extra point of damage there. If it would have traded in, the same result happens. Astrogation ends up with this board, except KillinallDay would just be -1 damage. Smart play.
Yeah, without armor up, the only ways that you deal sort of that little bits of damage, leaving minions at 1 health in the mirror matchup is crucial because they either have to tank that minion, essentially making it deal double damage, or throw in charge minions. So as soon as you go on the defensive, all of a sudden you're at a huge disadvantage, especially once you've given up armor up, because you're taking double damage from minions, and you have to worry about clearing instead of developing your own. So
KillinallDay, he's got his eyes focused on one thing and one thing only right now. It's building a big Frothing Berserker and then making Astrogation pay for it. This guy has a chance to get out of control.
yeah, 5 attack immediately, and
It's got to be answered.
well, he does have the answer to it. I mean, he's got the Patches, he's got the Fiery War Axe. He could even just throw out his own Frothing Berserker, start trading in, and then it gets a little weird.
Yeah, this is a really interesting turn because if he gives up the weapon immediately, it means that the Bloodsail Raider's not getting that additional weapon buff. So if he goes Bloodsail Raider now, what does his turn look like now with 2 Frothing Berserkers in hand afterwards? I think just for mana consideration, you really have to give nod to this Frothing Berserker. Get the power now and be able to just access the rest of your cards in future turns.
A blade be thirsty.
So life lead also for Astrogation going into this one. So it looks like it is going to be a slight trade. Making sure to sequence properly. In this stage, especially after playing all day, you can get into sort of that, autoplay rhythm where you just sort of throw out your cards and you get a play in your mind and you might miss sequence and attack with your Fire War Axe first and then not get the extra 2 damage in with the South Sea deckhand, but
Guilty.
yeah, I mean, these players staying hyper-focused after a long day of Hearthstone, that can separate, some of the... I like how Dan put it earlier, separate the contenders from the pretenders.
Wow, look at this. KillinallDay going to use Heroic Strike and tank the damage from Frothing Berserker rather than utilize the Kor'kron Elite. And this is showing an importance of that last final threat. KillinallDay is putting so much weight on that Kor'kron Elite's shoulders. It's going to have to get some massive value if he's going to win this game.
He's already down to 16. If Steady Shot comes in this turn, which it won't.
Yeah, pretty unlikely, I'd say. This was like the turn the Astrogation plan. Just get the rest of his minions on board. I don't really think there's much reason for him to believe that KillinallDay actually has Kor'kron Elite in hand. This play from KillinallDay actually looks somewhat brilliant. Now he gets to value trade over the Frothing Berserker, develop alongside of it, and trim Astrogation's board down to just a Bloodsail Raider.
Yeah. He does attack with the weapon, which means that his small-time Buccaneer is just stranded. But if he trades into a small-time Buccaneer, that preserves his Kor'kron Elite on the board.
Yeah, I mean, it's like KillinallDay inviting this value trade means that Kor'kron Elite sticks around. So that's 4 extra damage that it's going to pick up now.
Yeah, we'll see. That is a lot of damage, especially with Fireworks to back it up. That's essentially 9 damage a turn with that Kor'kron Elite staying alive. And Bloodsail Raider picked up, that could actually be woven in with the hero power. So if he wants this turn, he could push 9 and develop a 5/3.
I mean, my question is, do you attack a minion here with this Fiery War Axe?
I don't think you're ever winning if you attack a minion with no armor up. You're at 12.
That's what I'm wondering too. I mean, if he just simply pushes here, Astrogation's got the decision. Does he kill the Bloodsail Raider, or does he kill the Core Chron Elite? So either way, damage is sticking to board.
You kill the hero.
Killing All Day is pushing damage, and suddenly Astrogation's in trouble.
Yeah, he's at 12. Let's see if he can pick up some damage here. He's got 4 damage represented on board, 6 with hero power. Leroy would have ended it, but he picks up Upgrade, which at this stage is not that great. But what he can do is couple that upgrade with a Dread Corsair, which could allow him to hide some of these minions behind a taunt, protect some damage, and also keep chipping away with that steady shot.
Now is Astrogation gonna... Okay, he's gonna use a minion here rather than use his life total. Now that's really interesting as well. Something to think about is, could he have used his own life total here? He would have dropped down to 8, and any point of damage from Killing All Day would have ended the game. So now Killing All Day... Wow, this is just getting nuts all of a sudden.
So if he tanks the Dread Corsair shot, he goes down to 4. With Upgrade and 2 damage on board, he'd have to trade into the minion as well. So that would leave him at 4 with 3 damage representing from Astrogation. Killing All Day could also weave in a hero power, which means he'd set up it.
All right, he's got to kill.
So his only out here is to attack him with Fiery War Axe. Hit with the 5-3 into the 2-2. Hero power. Hope Astrogation bricks on damage because a single point of damage will kill him that point. And then kill Astrogation the next turn with the Heroic Strike and the steady shot and the 5-1 minion on board. That's his only out.
Oh my gosh.
He's at 4. 4 health.
Any point of damage that Astrogation can access alongside the upgrade weapon.
It's a brick!
And that's a brick. Killing All Day at the end, trading, meaning so much to him staying alive with just a single point of health. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, and Killing All Day just has lethal in hand. Doesn't even need the damage from the Zoss first mate. Heroic Strike to the face, steady shot to the face. And Killing All Day moves on 4-1 after round number 5. Astrogation falls to 3-2, effectively eliminating his chances of making top 8. Still a very small possibility, maybe. He could just be mathematically out. It's, you know, tiebreakers get pretty complicated once you get to the later stages, but pretty much out. Heartbreaking for him to lose that matchup, but Killing All Day has to be feeling good about that series.
Killing All Day.
He's killing Hearthstone games all day. That's exactly what he's doing.
For me.
But let's go ahead and take a look now at the leaderboards here. These are the players that are undefeated and at 4-1 after round number 5. The 2 doctors sitting up top, Doc Pone and Dr. J, as I like to call him, so we don't have to pronounce that name. And lots of players at 4-1 here, including Amnesiac, Killing All Day, as we just saw, Frozen still up there, as well as PK Snow, who's taking on a lot of top tier players today.
Yeah, PK Snow, a player that I was unfamiliar with coming into this event, but his performance thus far has looked incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've had some interesting names throughout the day. We've had Doc Pone, we've had Dr. Jinky Ninky, and
that's my favorite.
It's one of my favorites as well. And us casters too, we've had our fair share of weird names and weird ways that we came up with our names too. And we actually sat down and talked about how we got our battle tags. So why don't you guys go ahead and take a look.